Hello, nomads, pod people, and strangers everywhere across the internet. Welcome to a very special music review slash analyst of a video and song by the name of Sad by the artist known as XXXTentacion.
Now it's just a government creation. And all the information they solicit isn't nearly close to truth. It was clearance alteration. But the books our children study when they said Columbus discovered America, oh, the ultimatum.
Now, before we go into any sort of mentality reasons behind why I'm doing this video, why is this so different, and why is the length a lot longer than most other videos I've done in the music review category of my channel, let's go over first the artist of XXXTentacion. Only 20 years old, this kid tried to hit the ground running like no other artist has done in the modern era in a very successful manner that has been consistent in actually gaining the approval of many different artists and not be categorized as problematic as a lyricist, other than the fact that he never really finished a lot of his songs. For what reason, we will never know since he is no longer with us. However, along those lines, he's also the most controversial young rapper that people have seen in the modern era. If you guys don't believe what I mean about controversial artists, look up Marvin Gaye, Ike Turner, look up Frank Sinatra. Many different artists over the past several decades have been allegedly, if not publicly, scrutinized for all their less than stellar backgrounds. And X was no different. He was, before his death, going to be in a court hearing for beating his pregnant girlfriend. Well, ex-girlfriend, but I'm not trying to sound disrespectful because it still feels like they're together because of the baby. It doesn't matter. Where she actually had a GoFundMe page for an injury that really went $7,000 over the limit. You can actually look this information up on the internet, by the way. So he wasn't a saint, but he tried to do a lot of nice things for not only his fan base, but for many different individuals around him as well, doing many different charity events, trying to actually say some very introspective quotes inside his songs. He tried to do a lot of interesting things for a kid his age that not a lot of people do. I'm looking at you, Lil Yachty. But that's not where the whole crux of why this song was chosen out of many different tracks that he has put forth. There have been a lot of people that wanted to review stuff like the Look at Me video, but I'm not touching that controversial mess with a 500-foot pole. Mostly because of how many things it tries to go into for the second half of the music video that I'm still not comfortable doing a review for because of how many people try to live in such a huge glass box. They're just like, are you so offended at the small bit of industry visuals about how things are wrong for one race over the other? Like, come on, guys. We can grow up and accept that the world isn't black and white. It's hugely gray. But enough of the backstory. Let's just go into the music video itself as I try to just dissect it piece by piece. So we begin the video by... What the fuck are you staring at? Yeah, we begin the video by XXXTentacion having a conversation with something called Gekume. If you guys look it up, it's a word that XXXTentacion made up over the thing of a different state, or as a key towards a brand new universe, either outside or inside another individual. Many different subtexts of how weird that is. So it could be a demon, it could be an angel, I don't fucking know. But the music video actually becomes very haunting as it's XXXTentacion going to his own funeral. And even having a banner, if you guys were to freeze the frame about right here, you guys could see a small little excerpt from a Bible verse from Ezekiel. Will I pull out a Bible and say what the fucking quote is? Hell no! If y'all want to do that whole Christian research, y'all do it yourselves. I don't do that shit here. But anyway, it goes over a small thing before the song even hits the video itself, going over small quotes and different questions, as if it's trying to ask XXXTentacion himself, what was everything that made him who he was? What were his motivations? What was he as an individual? What was he holding true as an ideal? And why is he just now trying to make peace with himself throughout all this hatred? All throughout then having the thing of getting Kume, telling him that he's going to be a vessel for positivity and for change. We'll get into my reasoning behind why that kind of throws me for a loop at the end of this. But we then finally begin the song proper after
Someone that's afraid to let go. You decide if you're ever gonna let me know.
Yeah, XXXTentacion versus his former self when he used to have split hair of black and blonde. You guys can reverse that however you want to. Which could be poetic, which could be very well executed, or it could be a weird cry for, I don't want to be associated with my controversial past anymore. Obviously, someone took notes from Chris Brown. But I digress. It splits between having the song being briefly shown throughout the music video, as well as having these small inter-character moments between XXXTentacion's internal self and him fighting his external self and his past self. As if it's a giant commentary about how the mind, body, and soul actually have a clashing idealism about past, present, and future as a whole. The three dichotomies of how time, both internally, externally, and for a metaphysical sense, actually do clash more times than we actually give it credit for. And I enjoy having the moments where the song actually tries to bleed into the music video during small moments that actually do give it more levity. It can actually be reinterpreted from all these different moments that, from the original song that we will get into in a moment, actually could be interchangeable for what it has done, as for what it can be used for. And I'm saying this in comparison to songs like This Is America, for example. If you guys were to just hear the song itself without seeing the music video, you'd probably see from my argument that it doesn't make that much sense. If you're just hearing This Is America from Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino, you'd be thrown for a small loop for why this is such an important song for a people. Why is it such a huge song for a statement? Why is it such a huge song that many parodies that can do a parody of this seem as if it's a giant insult? But when you take into the accountability about how the visual medium goes alongside with the music that is incorporated with it, you see for the entire message as a whole that this is how a race of individual people actually see the world, for a coping mechanism as well as a fear market, and for how we try to cope with everything as well as push it aside even though it's our natural norms. The same cannot be said for Sad, which tries to do a much more introspective / metaphysical standpoint for what it's trying to do as a medium. Case in point, here's the original song.
I gave her everything, she took my heart and left me lonely. I'm lost and I'm found, but it's torture being in love. Suicide if you ever try to let go. I'm sad, I know, yeah. I'm sad, I know, yeah.
You see from like small bits that I'm trying to show here and there, but we then go into the music video.
I gave her everything, she took my heart and left me lonely. I love when you're around, but I fucking hate when you leave. Suicide if you ever try to let go. I'm sad, I know, yeah. I'm sad, I know, yeah.
And it's a giant different dichotomy about how we're trying to eliminate any weird possibilities about how it's different for the sake of being different. It's a brand new message from the same song. It's not only trying to disregard all of the pain that has come before you, to disregard all the stuff that your past has really shaped you into a darker medium to then be shed off as if it's a bad skin, but it's also giving you a brand new perspective about how much you've loved what you've become, but you still fear what it is that has driven so many different dark corners into your livelihood, your relationships, your fan mediums, whatever medium that you want to use as an excerpt. It really tries its best to reshape a new message for yourself that not a lot of different artists would do for their own songs. Some people doing it in a different light better than others, but we'll get into that in a different review later down the line. And it doesn't help that when you're trying to dissect this, because of how heavy this is on a message standpoint, it makes the lyrics actually seem a little bit more superfluous than how it should be for a music video means.
What did you say?
I'm not trying to be mean at this point for anyone trying to say anything about this. I really do enjoy the music video, especially for what it tries to end everything on. How it's trying to show that with X now trying to make peace with his past self by defeating his former demons to make a better version of himself for the future, he's trying to now move forward to spread more happiness, more clarity, instead of leading into a generation of destruction, chaos, and maliceness. I'm not trying to say anything negative in that connotation, but I will point out how the music video and the song itself don't really merge together when you're using it as a critic standpoint for lyric to adaptation representation of medium translation. And again, that's not a bad thing if done correctly, like what X has done as an excerpt for this as a whole. Whew. Man, that is a lot of different talking I can do for a giant thing for the analytical side of things, but let's get into the review part as I promised for the video. Now, if you guys were to be asking me how to review this thing for a music video standpoint, I would say that for a visual medium alone without the song, this is by far the most powerful storytelling medium I have seen from a young artist before they hit the age of 21 that I have seen in all of my years of reviewing music since I was the ripe age of 12.
What the hell did you just say?
This by far was an incredible experience to watch as a tortured artist, no matter how controversial that they are as an individual, could piece together such a beautiful message for everyone to either relate to or feel some kind of emotion for. Whether you were for or against the artist, you cannot deny the fact that this was a very impactful and powerful visual medium to understand, to analyze, to watch, and to maybe cry to if you really have missed the artist since you've heard that he has passed away. But as for a translation sense for where the song actually was, I can't say it does a well enough job to translate the lyrics to the video as a medium. The song itself is a very depressing medium about a person regretting the loss of an individual that they have loved so dearly that they have left the other individual in question of the song. This seems more like a track that you would make a music video for maybe someone that was somewhat an abusive alcoholic or drug addict that really pushed away his wife, his children, and then have them actually understand the suffering by flashing back to everything to then finally have a sobering revelation that they have been the problem. They should fix themselves for what they are as a whole. They should understand that what they have done has been the toxicity that has pushed away so many good, healthy, and incredible experiences from their lives to make it a much more impactful message where you could even have XXXTentacion being just the narrator, just being a ghost, a phantom in the background for all these individual stories for a man, a woman, or a child of any sort of mentality that you want to do, for abuse, for being someone that takes people for granted, for someone that tries to be so super entitled for something, or an individual that tries to sacrifice everything for an ideal for themselves that they know is bad, but they want to see through because they are already so deep into things. At least that's how I feel I would do it if I was still in the music game. That's how I would want to shoot the music video because it actually fits the song itself. If you could do the same thing for what X did in the Look at Me music video, that where he made the message clear from the first song and the second song as a visual medium, I don't see how he couldn't do the same thing for this video as a whole, to actually send shivers down people's spines for how realistic a portrayal that could be for individuals that have gone down that pathway. And I know I've said the word individuals a lot, so I'm going to stop there before people just be like, stop saying that word and just get on with the review. So, as a whole, I would say for the visual aspects, X really did a wonderful medium as a creative director. He did a wonderful job as a songwriter for the song alone if you were to put them separately. Together though, they are not that good of a match. They really have suffered a lot together, and it really does show how mismatched and misplaced they are as a medium control. If it was done a different way with a different visual interpretation, it wouldn't be that much of a problem and would have been even more perfect with the Gekume intervening with all three individuals of the same exact narrative. I'm still going back to how you can use those three different aspects to sell the story, obviously, because I can't stop saying how much this could have been a even more perfect video. But I digress. For the entirety as a whole, I'll give everything tied together a 9.8 out of 13. I'm a sucker for how the visual medium does things as a whole. I'm a sucker for how it does everything to sell a positive message, as to eliminate the old version of you to awaken to a better interpretation of yourself. But the translation is the part that bothers me the most. It makes me so mad to see that there is so much wasted potential on the ground floor for this. I can't help but state how bad that was. But I won't say it was terrible. So, I guess that's all I'm gonna leave it to you for you all. Will I do another review for XXXTentacion since he has passed? I doubt that I will. A lot of people try to say he's gonna be the new generation's Tupac, and that may be true for some, but at the same time, I don't care that much about X as an artist. But I do give my condolences to his friends, his family, as well as his fans that really do miss him to this day. So, rest in peace, X. Thanks for the amazing music for your fans. And to all my amazing nomads, party people, and strangers everywhere across the internet, I will see you guys later on, and I just remembered something.
You don't fuck with
the pyramid and
everyone been asking where the guard been. Location doesn't matter, bitch, I'm back, start taking caution. Scorching everything, I'm setting fire to your garden. And I see your jar glass, never drop your guard down.
I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, because it was so worth the hard work. I don't even care that my fan just turned on. 700 videos, 3 years of doing this shit, and I'm finally going in at my most serious. Look forward to more reviews, more stuff with music things like Music Perspective is dropping this month, more original shows from me and my team over at Writerscope Studios, more voice acting attempts, more every motherfucking thing. God, it feels so good to be back, even though my voice is not completely back here. Also, some real life stuff is going on where you guys won't be seeing me with bare hands anymore, well, at least on my left hand. We'll go into that in a different date. Anyway, though, I'll see you guys later. And, oh god, I am so tired. Editing this was exhausting.